From zero to $44.5 thousand in 120 days. How much is on this processor right here?
Since middle of May to now, which is October 3rd, I've made $87,000.
That's what an average guy from a small town in Ohio was able to achieve after launching his online fitness coaching business. Also after getting burned and scammed in the past by multiple people.
January 2025, I saw some ad from a scam mentor, another course from and I put about, $500 down to get started there. That's all I had in my account. I saw like how many people that he had in there, and like I heard you had to wait 3 weeks for a one-on-one call, and I just...
But with the right blueprint and the right guidance, Ari was able to quit his 9-to-5 office job after making $8.5 thousand after implementing what I'm gonna share with you in this video.
Show them how you're gonna get in shape doing your 9-to-5 job. Your niche is you. Like, you just taught me all this shit.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call the Accelerator Blueprint. The 3-step system that Ari followed to make now over $85,000 with his fitness coaching business. And so for the first hour of this video, we are going to be uncovering the 3 unique methods that Ari applied to start signing 2 to 3 clients a week that would pay him anywhere from $3.5 to $5,000. The first is gonna be the reverse psychology method. The second is gonna be the acceleration funnel. And the third is gonna be the... And for the second hour of this video, I flew Ari out here to Miami to come stay at my penthouse for an entire weekend. And we hopped on a podcast together, and you're gonna get to hear from the man himself exactly what he did, exactly what he learned, but also the mistakes he made along the way, going from zero to $44.5 thousand in less than 120 days. And lastly, after this video, if you like what you see, check out that first link in the description. You may still be able to grab yourself a ticket to a masterclass we are holding, teaching people just like yourself how to break into the high-ticket online fitness coaching space and scale up to those $10,000 months. But with that being said, let's get into the video. All right, there's 2 types of people listening to this right now. First type of person understands everything I am about to say. They just need that reminder and maybe that little bit of clarity on putting all of this conjunction together to really make it work, right? Other type of person that's going to be like pretty new information. Maybe you know some of it, maybe you don't know any of it at all. And so there's going to be a lot here to actually digest. And that's why I'd recommend, having a notebook and just having your full attention to what we be going over. Because what I've been really trying to do is, break down a lot of this high level information into something that's very digestible and something that's very actionable for anybody to really understand. Oh, we got Ari up in here. Cool. Ari's going to love this because this is about him. But more importantly, actually putting a way for everyone to use. So what we're going to be breaking down today is what I like to call the Accelerator Blueprint. It's like 3 simple things that anybody can implement to achieve results like really fast, right? Now, there's no guarantees in life besides death and taxes. Let's be real. So I'm not going to say, I guarantee you're going to make this amount in this amount of time. I can't really say that. But I can guarantee you something. If you take the actions right here that we'll lay out and you listen to everything, you're definitely gonna be in a better spot. So yeah, that's a part of it. Will this call be registered, guys? It will be recorded, yeah. So from 0 to 44.5K a month in 4 months, this is what I like to call the Accelerator Blueprint. It's 3 simple things broken down that you can follow as well. Because there's a lot of info out there. There's a lot that we teach. The video course has a lot of stuff in there. But I want to leave you guys today with something super tangible that you can keep top of mind to pretty much execute on. So this was all inspired by, let me go to the proof first, right? This is the proof of the Stripe screenshot, so we know we're not fucking pulling shit out of our ass, right? $87,000, $21.99 collected with this Stripe payment processor. We were back at 0 over here, kind of beginning of the year. Best month, all that income collected, just to show you guys this is real. Sometimes we hear these numbers online and we're like, there's no way that's real. I get that. I've been there. I didn't believe that shit was real until you start actually achieving them. But they are very, very, very real. And first off, let's cover limiting beliefs, right? If we don't believe it, we can't achieve it. But if we do believe it, we can achieve it. Ari, at 100K now? Yeah. Delusional. That's what I love. But the biggest thing is don't let our limiting beliefs get in our way. I want everyone here to feel worthy of their goals. And if you catch yourself ever negatively thinking to yourself like, oh, I can't achieve that, or that's not realistic, or blah, 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 just catch yourself, stop yourself, and change that belief. It's the biggest thing. I'd say, and I already mentioned this even in the podcast, which you guys will see eventually. is like a big thing that fundamentally changed everything was simply just going to be going from like a scarcity fear mindset to an abundance mindset, truly believing that he was worthy of all the success that he could achieve. And that's when things really started to hit. And I actually went to church this morning. We all went to church, all four of us. Andrew pulled us out of the house from working and actually brought us to, listen to some gospel. And something they said that was very interesting, and this also applies to a book I love, which is called Reality Transurfing, is like we just have to move in a way where, like what we want from life is already there. We just have to work towards it. I forgot exactly how they put it, but like
it was God can give you something, but he won't hand it to you directly. You've got to go after it.
Yeah. Well, he just says like God has already given you what you want, but you have to go after it. All right. A lot of us are asking God for, give me this, give me this, give me this. It's like, you can already have it. We just have to kind of put the work in to get it. And especially the work in on ourselves is the biggest thing.
It's over there. It's not here. It's over there. You have to go and literally go and get it.
Yeah.
There it is.
And also what that also incorporates is just paying attention to the things external. Life is always a mirror. It's not a window. So all the things you see bounce back to you are just a direct reflection of you. Little mindset tangent aside, let's move on. So this entire thing was inspired by our Soko, who couldn't afford the 101 at the very beginning, but we both took that risk on each other around 6 months ago. And he made $8.5K in his first month and now over $80,000 since. I want to break down exactly what we did. First off, we used this transformation to sell high ticket fitness coaching. I'm sure we understand that. Low tickets, that $200 to $450 a month coaching, which isn't terrible. But best case scenario, we want to be doing high ticket coaching. Not only is it good for your bank account, but it's especially good for the client. All right. It's a lot of emotional investment. You work with less people, you make more money, because everyone's goal here, well, not everyone, but majority of people's goal here is $10,000 a month. Some of you guys are shooting for 20, 30, 40, or shooting for, 100 now. All right. Amazing. And so just like look at the math, right? Would you rather work with 30 clients at $333 a month and have hours of fulfillment, solving lots of low-level problems and have a lot of cancellations? Or would we rather sign on just 4 people? That's it, just 4 people for $2,500 to make $10K, right? More lifetime value, right? Better business, only solving high-level problems, and also like income safety as well. A lot of people say like, oh, high ticket doesn't mean income safety. You constantly have to get new people. In my opinion, it's better income fucking safety. You get fucking paid more. You have to work with less clients than having to rely on 30 people to send you a payment every single month. So here's the high ticket coaching objective. This is what you want to optimize for, right? If you want to make this happen, you want to optimize for building high value relationships, right? And I'll discuss that. But like, how do we build high value relationships? Now, let me actually break down that term first. A high value relationship is just like, we've known each other for a good amount of time and we spent a good amount of time together. That's it. It's like, why do you call your best friends your best friends? It's because you spent a good amount of time with that person. You've known them for a while. You've done dumb shit with them and you've done great shit with them. That's why they're your best friend, right? It's nothing specific besides time under tension. That's what creates a high value relationship. That's it. And so if we apply that online, right, all we have to do is use Instagram and YouTube to build an organic audience, right? And especially focusing on giving them trust and education versus just trying to go viral to develop high value relationships, right? That actually convert. So instead of just focusing on the metric of let me get views, right? What we want to be doing is actually talking to people inside of our audience and like kind of developing a community and being real and being authentic is the biggest thing. Right. So instead of optimizing, oh, let me just make the content that gets the most amount of views. We optimize for, no, let's be real. Right. Let's talk about real shit. Let me attract the people in my audience who actually like me for me. I've heard this time and time again. A lot of people will try to kind of be somebody else to try to become somebody online. And that's just not sustainable because then you always have to show up with this fake persona in a way, you're not really you, and that's not sustainable. But I'll tell you what, like the most sustainable personal brands, and I even saw a reel from like Alex Sedlak, who's been in the game for like 6 years. He literally said the one reason you haven't seen me fall off is simply because I've just been real. I've taken you guys through my wins and I've taken you guys through my struggles, right? And so people can see that. They can see it's a real person. They actually trust that person. And that's real education because it's real shit. You're going through real shit, right? A lot of us will go through real shit in life, but we won't share it with the audience because, it may make us look weak, right? It may make us look like a bad leader, or I'm a bit insecure about that, But that's where the real value is when you go up to your girl or go up to your friend and you talk about some real shit that you're going through, in my personal opinion. So your content should literally just be trying to help people move from pain to pleasure. That's it. And every single day, as long as we're practicing our self-improvement correctly, we are moving from pain to pleasure every single day. It may not feel like we're making massive progress, but each and every single one of us is getting at least 1% better every single day. So we're moving from pain to pleasure a little bit every single day. And that means there's a little bit of gold inside of you every single day that you can give away, that you can provide to people. And that's the content you want to make. Now, some content is going to be a lot bigger than others. Some of it's going to be smaller. But there's that understanding of, okay, let me just provide real time, right? Presence and education to people through my content. That's how you build high value relationships, if that makes sense. So there's that. But let's get into it. So exposing the 3-step acceleration blueprint to add $12,000 in 7 days. Now, why do I say $12,000 in 7 days? It's because that was like one of our best weeks. I think we did more than that with Ari, but it was like over $12,000 within just 7 days. And so this is like the only way. There's other ways, but like in my opinion, the best way to quickly and efficiently turn your physique into a full-time income in a marketplace of crowded online fitness coaches by 3 steps. Using the reverse psychology technique, I'll go over that. The acceleration funnel, a lot of us understand it. I'll go over it once again. And then here's a new thing I've never talked about, the unscalable actions method, right? Now, these are some complicated words. We'll break them down. But this can be the best way for anyone here to stand out in a saturated marketplace, right? The behind the scenes of these methods are the secrets to actually closing those 3.5K paid in fulls, right? Regardless of your following size. Because making money online is no longer about having the biggest following. I can tell you that. I've been the guy, biggest following, still sometimes made less money than people with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers. I can tell you that for a fact. This is all about providing or creating real trust with people, providing real education, and just getting specific. If we don't stand for something, we stand for fucking nothing at all, right? It's the biggest thing. So the first 2 steps focus on attracting the right people in your audience online. And the last one ties it all in together to accelerate that conversion. And pay attention and follow these strategies closely if you want to make tens of thousands of dollars over the next couple of months as an online fitness coach. It worked for one guy. It worked for another guy. It's worked for me. It can work for you as well. It's the biggest thing, right? We just got to download the info and take action on it. It's the biggest thing, okay? So now that we understand what we're getting into, let's break these 3 steps down. First, the reverse psychology technique, okay? So people buy coaching from people who are just a couple steps in front of them and are motivationally aligned, right? That's who people buy coaching from. Now, there is some people who buy coaching from people who are a million steps in front of them, but it just doesn't really work out for them, because this person's too high level. They don't have enough time for you. They're thinking about fucking level 100 problems, and you're trying to figure out level fucking 1 problems, It's a little bit hard to sometimes actually communicate, right? So really the best coaching comes out of finding a coach who's a couple steps in front of you, right? And also bringing on clients who are a couple steps behind you. But then also, most importantly, motivationally aligned. And let me explain what that term means to me. So everyone here, they all have their different motives in life, right? They all have kind of this specific mindset that they have. This specific way of thinking is the best way to put it, right? And I find the people who buy your coaching the most are always those people who are closely motivationally aligned with you, right? They kind of maybe have the same humor as you, right? They have similar desires as you. And they also have similar struggles and past experiences as you as well. They may not be super exact, but there is subtleties to it, right? There's still a good amount you share in common, right? And that's why it's so important just to be super real online and not try to become somebody you're not. Because then you'll attract people into your audience who like you for your false persona and not you for who you truly are. And that's why it's just like, get your shit out there, bro. Talk your fucking shit. Be real, say the shit that maybe you're a little bit too scared to say, because that may attract the people the exact people you want to work with. And I'll break down motivational line a little bit more, but I don't believe you like pick your niche, nor do you speak to like one person inside of your audience or like try to target one problem. What I believe is your personal brand is shaped by what you stand for and what you stand against, most importantly, right? So if we're trying to attract people who are motivationally aligned with us, then all we got to focus on is, well, what do I stand for and what do I stand against? And you can think about the political parties. People will literally kill each other over a political stance. You know, that's how strong it is in America. Fucking red versus blue, right? Now, what creates red versus blue? The associations of each of those political parties, right? Blue stands for this and against that. Red stands for this and against that as well. That's why those parties have like cult followings is the best way to put it. So if you want to build a cult following of people who will heavily buy into what you stand for and what you stand against, then you just have to get clear on what that is. And once you get clear on that, those become the guardrails for your content you upload to attract the right viewers in. So this is the brand journey framework we recently added inside, right? You guys may have seen it. It's 12, or it was 13. It's 12 sections long. I removed one over inside the school. So I think the three most important, or actually this is the first step of the brand journey framework. These are the three most important questions to ask yourself, right, when it comes to this. So the whole idea behind this brand journey framework is to figure out your motivations first so you can use reverse psychology to attract motivationally aligned people into your audience. Question number one is going to be, what is my desired outcome here? All right. So what do you ultimately want to achieve with your personal brand or business? This is so important. The exact reason it took me fucking years of posting online before I ever made anything happen is literally just because I had no idea where I was going. I was like, oh yeah, let me post, let me gain some followers. I never thought about making the money. I never thought about running a business. I never thought about any of these things. I had these dreams, but they weren't goals. All right. Until I actually was like, wait, what do I actually like? I thought about it this way. It's like, I need to be intentional if I want to achieve an intentional outcome. So where am I going? All right. So you got to get specific with what's your desired outcome. In this specific, right? I want to run an online fitness coaching business that pays me $10,000 a month where I help people build a Greek god physique, even with bad genetics. And I want to move to Miami and drive a Corvette C8 and be tan, jacked, and handsome. Like, if you can get that specific, that's a really good visualization, right? It's very apparent in your mind, okay, where you want to go. And the clearer you understand the goal, the better you understand how to get there. All right. The only reason we don't achieve our goals is simply just because we don't have enough clarity on them. All right. Goals aren't some complicated thing we have to go achieve. It's just getting clarity on it. And that's why taking action towards your goal helps you achieve your goal. Because once you take action, you figure out what's the right action to take and what's the wrong action to take. That's clarity, right? So if we can actually take time to get clarity on what do we ultimately want to achieve, we're going to accelerate our growth a lot faster. So, stop throwing shit at the wall, expecting for it to stick and attract the right person to your audience. Get really descriptive about what movement or mission you're on with your personal brand. That's the most important thing. A lot of you guys have really good stories here. Even if you tell yourself you don't, there's still something there that can be turned into a movement or a mission you're on. This is going to help you identify the direction you're heading in so you can gain motivation aligned people into your audience. And this will also fulfill the what part of the 4 pillars of marketing. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I'll talk about it again later. And people, most importantly, they buy into leadership, not just coaching, right? People don't buy into coaching. They buy into leadership. They are paying you to give them leadership in their life, under their fitness, under their nutrition, under their mindset, and even some people, their relationships and just like a lot of things in life. And so sometimes you got to ask yourself the question, like, why would somebody give me leadership? First off, figure out why they would, and then figure out the gaps you have to fill. But understand that people buy into leadership, not coaching. So as a leader, you got to have a clear vision on where you're headed. All right. So answer that question. What is my desired outcome? Question number 2 becomes, well, what do I need to be known for in order to make that happen? Good branding is the pairing of good things. Bad branding is the pairing of bad things. That's all it is. Because what is branding? It is just pairing yourself with things. That's all it is. Think about Logan Paul and Prime. Why is Prime such a strong brand? Because Logan Paul is attached to it. You really think Logan Paul fucking started Prime? No. Some other guy started Prime and he was like, yo, Logan Paul, come market Prime for me. I'll give you 50% revenue share or something like that. He was like, great, awesome. That's why he blew up Prime. because they paired Prime with Logan Paul. It was a great pairing to create a great brand. And that's why that brand is so strong and makes so much money. So branding is just the act of pairing yourself with things, right? And once again, good branding means you consistently pair yourself with good things. Bad branding means you are pairing yourself with bad things. Now, I want to break this down a little bit more, right? What do I mean good? What do I mean bad? Well, think about it in a coaching perspective, right? What would be good to pair yourself with as a coach? Well, discipline's one of them. So show up every single day. Consistency, show up every single day, I should say. Discipline is pushing through the hard shit even though you don't want to. With coaching, people want to be constantly filled up with a value when they see you. And so, posting a piece of content that has no value to it, it's just fulfilling a number. It's just some dumb shit. Like that's bad branding. It's not good for the brand. It actually takes away from the viewer's cup. They spend their precious time in life on watching your shit and they're like, this sucks. That's bad branding. But if you actually look for putting real value, real education, maybe real inspiration inside that piece of content, and you try your best to make sure, okay, every single second is actually pretty good, that's good branding, right? Because it's a good piece of content and it creates a strong association for you in the viewer's mind, if that makes sense. So most people overcomplicate offering niche because it's not a part of your identity. But if most business content creators just focus on pairing themselves well and communicating their identity online, they would just benefit a whole lot more. I've heard probably 50% of people here say what's my niche? What's my niche? What's my niche? It's what if we just don't think about niche, and what if we think about what do we stand for and what do we stand against? It's a lot easier. What do you stand for? What does your coaching stand for? What do your clients stand for? And all stand against, right? It's a lot easier way to think about it, in my opinion. So this is all about identifying your identity online so you can clearly communicate it to other people as fast as possible, right? Once again, we're building high value relationships, right? Why do you have a strong relationship with somebody? Because you have a strong identity, right? You understand who this person is a lot, right? And so if we're trying to create high value relationships online, we need to create strong identities in other people online as well. And what that means is they have to understand our identity. I don't know if I worded that exactly the best, but what that means is we have to have a strong persona, a strong identity online that people can identify us as, so we actually stick. They actually remember us. We're not the forgettable brand. We actually are remembered. The only reason people don't buy is because of unanswered questions too, right? And the most important question to answer is who are you? I believe your story is so important. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? Where do you come from and where are you heading? Right? Up, down, side to side. Think about it that way. All right, that will answer who are you. Most important. And the question number 3 is what actions must I consistently take what actions does I consistently take to reinforce this reputation, right? This reputation that you're trying to build online so you can achieve your desired outcome. So that means what pairings do you have to take action on to build your personal brand, right? And this is where you get actionable with your desired outcome. It's all about attaching outcomes to specific actions is the biggest thing. So a lot of you guys will follow certain story flows and stuff like that. You'll post the morning routine, you'll post the journaling, you'll post etc., right? But if you don't attach a specific outcome to a specific action, there's no identity to that action, right? So I could post my morning journaling, but if I never tell people what it did for me, how it transformed my identity, right? What does this journaling stand for? And what does this journaling stand against? There's no identity to that action. And so nobody actually changes because there's no reason to change. There's no reason to do the morning journaling. There's no identity they're stepping into when they take action, right? I'm sure you guys have been through this before. You kind of place yourself in somebody else's identity when you're doing something. I know when I was really going hard with bodybuilding, there's this guy I love, Anton Swoll. Some of you guys probably know him. He was a great inspiration for my bodybuilding journey. And so when I would go into the gym, bro, I would think I'm like Anton Swoll getting fucking jacked, or Arnold or something like that. I would place myself in their identity to feel more like them, right? To think more like them, to operate more like them. Excuse me. And that's what you want to do to your viewers as well, right? So when you create the strong identity and you attach that to actions, you actually get people to want to change because they want to be like you. So they start taking the actions that you're taking. And that's most important. Consistency of face is most important to fulfill enough trust and belief inside the viewer as well, right? Consistency of face. What that means is showing up every single day, no matter how you're doing, man. You know, show up if you're doing great, show up if you're doing bad. People just got to see your face so they trust you. And the reason most people fail is because they take actions horizontally instead of vertically. Let me explain that. Horizontal actions are trying 100 different things. Vertically is picking, let's say, 3 to 5 actions, 3 to 5 needle movers that you're going to stick to and scale vertically. Do them day after day after day after day after day, right? In this world, a lot of us are addicted to instant gratification. If we don't see a result from something right away, then we just kind of give up on it. We're like, oh, you know, it's not going to get us somewhere. But I'm telling you right now, you do way better if you stick to actions vertically versus constantly going horizontally to be like, okay, what works, what works, what works. It's not about what works. It's about making something work. So that's the brand journey framework. Where do you want to go with your personal brand? What's your desired outcome? What do I need to be known for to make that happen? And what actions must I consistently take to reinforce that reputation? Now, here's a real life example of what we did here. So ours brand associations, he's for sustainably getting in shape. He's for sneaking in small lifestyle tweaks to get in shape. He's for high protein, low calorie cheat meals, for growing physically, mentally, spiritually, for enjoying getting in shape, right? We can see this through the content and through the messaging. But what's he against? Bodybuilding diets, you know, chicken and rice 5 times a day, training every day of the week, doing massive amounts of cardio, letting your excuses hold you back, getting through hell just to get in shape. Like, these are clear messages he has throughout all of his content. His brand positioning, well, that's his core, or I should say his contrarian belief, right? To position your brand out of the millions of people who want to build a brand and become an online fitness coach as well, it's about having a contrarian belief, something that's a little bit different from the general stream of messaging inside of this industry. So his contrarian belief is, I believe the reason you tried and failed in the past to get in shape is because you had the wrong guidance that contained a blueprint, which is unsustainable for your life to get in shape. And that's why your fitness journey has been on a yo-yo. But I believe by sneaking in small lifestyle tweaks to your training, nutrition, routine, then progressively overloading those small lifestyle tweaks over time, you can sustainably maintain an upwards trajectory getting in shape without ever falling off and having to start over. This is what he breaks down in his Miro board on his VSL and talks a lot about inside of his messaging. Now, once again, this contrarian belief isn't something fucking extreme like, hey, go blast testosterone like me, right? But it's just something specific that's different from what a lot other people are saying online. So that's the contrarian belief he plays into. And then the differentiation breakdown, right? What's actually different from you? Right. And so the way to figure it out is like, ask yourself, what do you dislike about this industry? And then what's your opposite stance on it? So things he dislikes is a boring and restrictive diet. He doesn't like that. Extreme amounts of cardio training and extreme amounts of training and cardio, marketing scams, bullshit myths. We see that all throughout the content. Right. And he talks about these things, then gives his opposite stance. So his opposite stance are these things right here. A diet that allows flexibility, training just a couple days a week, busting marketing scams directly inside the grocery store, reacting to bullshit myths that spewed online, and then telling you the truth, right? And so when people see that, they're like, oh, this is different, right? And that's why people actually get behind it. And so once we figure out these core things, you ask yourself these questions, come up with your brand framework. You have your brand associations, right? What you stand for, what you stand against, your contrarian belief, and then your differentiation breakdown. That will become like your prism. Right. And so all of your ideas for content should flow through that prism to create the fucking light over here. Okay. The best way to say it. What I mean by that is like these right here should create the psychology for all of your content. So boom, you get an idea. Let me make a content talk about talking about food, you know, nutrition, something a lot of people struggle with. Right. So, okay, I'm going to go to my differentiation breakdown and I'm going to put the idea through the prism and boom, we get food labels are a scam. Right? Opposite stance. Still eats protein brownies at night. So he showcases his mom losing a whole bunch of weight in 7 months. And he says right there at the bottom, still eating protein brownies at night. Instead of all of his messaging, he's always like, you can get in amazing shape while still eating your favorite foods. Inside of all of it. All right? Instead of all the nutrition things he talks about. So people constantly get it over and over and over and over again. Right? Creating that strong association. And then, no, I'm not a fitness influencer written inside of the YouTube title as well. All right, so really playing into these core things right here to just differentiate himself and not sound like everybody else. And that's how you achieve the intentional brand, all right? Ari focused on building a brand, not going viral, but attracting a few of the right people into his audience every single day. This intentional thinking didn't lead to becoming a massive influencer in this space, but it did lead to bringing in a bunch of clients for his coaching business. So, viral focused brands are going to have to run a system that looks like this. They have to have a landing page with a free training, then the prospects watch the video, and then there's email marketing and SMS marketing and cold call marketing, and then there's a sales team, and then you finally close the deal, right? Because the brand heavily relies on just videos to go viral. And so you need a whole bunch of shit in the back end to make something happen, right? But if you focus on the content and you bring the right people in, well, then all you need is a free training, Instagram stories, people booking calls, and close deals, right? There isn't like a whole complex system. Ari has one employee, just one set that helps him out. What's up? Still run it just like this, because if you get the right content, which isn't going to go viral, you see some of my content pieces, bro, they get like 100 likes. Because those are specifically focused on like building trust, providing education, right? Which is going to get the clients. I like to play in some of this as well. I like some of the viral videos. That's a part of it. And we'll break that down over here. But that's like the reverse psychology technique. And then here comes the acceleration funnel. Okay. Now we're kind of starting to wrap it up all together. So I'll break down how this works. Just a couple things we want to understand is the 7-hour rule and the 4 pillars of marketing. So these are my 4 pillars of marketing, what everyone should understand, right? Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? How do you do it? We want to constantly be making sure that we're educating our audience on those 4 things, right? So people need to know your story, okay? This will help people relate to you and then also trust your guidance as well. Because I like to say, like, if people can see themselves in your shoes, they will most likely take similar actions that you took. So that's why people need to know who you are. People need to know what you do. People need to understand you to a T, right? What do you even do for others for your coaching? If no one knows that, people will say, I hear this man saying some good stuff, but it doesn't sound like it's specifically for me, right? You want your shit to sound like specifically for somebody. Why do you do it, right? People need to know why your story led you to starting this coaching business. I find that's very important. How did your story, how did your life lead you up to this spot? Did you just start this shit because like, oh, bro, I want to get some money? Or did you go through something? You're like, you know what? This transformation that I made, I need to help others make it. Or, I hate to see X, Y, and Z struggle, and I know how to fix that. Let me go help other people out, right? There needs to be a mission statement behind it. And then how do you do it? People need to understand how you help them out. If not, your audience will be asking, why would I even be getting myself into? What would I even be getting myself into, right? Clarity and offer equals confidence and buyer. So those are the 4 pillars. Understand those. Now the 7-hour rule works like this. Okay. This is all based on like real facts, not myths. Google did a study and they found it takes on average 7 hours of somebody watching your content to fulfill enough trust and belief to potentially buy. And so without having YouTube long form education, which will be fulfilling enough trust and belief, it will be pretty hard to really accelerate conversion. You can do it without it, but YouTube will help out a lot, right? And this is the video right here is what really helped out. So if you have a couple like 30-minute videos, they can be day in the lives, they can be full guides, anything like that, like they help out a lot. And so this is how this all works right here. Okay, I'll break it down step by step. But acceleration funnel, at the top, you're going to have Instagram, right? That's where you're going to start getting people actually inside, right? Instagram stories, the second step to that funnel. That's where you're actually building those high value relationships with people just by showing up each and every single day to them. Then we have YouTube below that. YouTube is where we're getting a little bit deeper. People have a little bit higher awareness around us, right? And that's where we heavily educate them on who are we, what do we do, why do we do it, how do we do it. We get the viewer to spend a lot of time with us. At the very bottom right here, we have conversion mechanisms. So how to use Instagram, Typeform, Calendly all together to get people on calls. And then here's a reverse funnel. I've never seen this before, but then we have actually making transformations, right? Because with good transformations, you can increase LTV, lifetime value. You can do upsells, referrals, stuff like that. And so that's kind of like the opposite end of the funnel. So I'll break this down step by step. What we were doing for the Instagram was a lot of top of funnel growth content and a lot of bottom of funnel conversion content, right? And this is the direction I've been giving a lot of you guys recently. Once again, a lot of people understand this here and they just need reminders or they need to hear this. So a combination of top of funnel content to grow your audience with the right viewers and bottom of funnel conversion content fulfill enough trust and belief around your coaching for people to take action. That's what this is all about. So top of funnel is like quick and efficient content that gets a message across. It's a little shallow, but it's content that still targets people interested in getting in shape, and it brings in that initial follow. All right, so everyone's top of funnel is going to look a little bit different. Remember, Ari's offer is like helping busy adults sustainably get in shape without the bullshit. So to him, bullshit, let's define terms here, is like unsustainable diets, chicken and rice, right? Doing a whole bunch of cardio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what bullshit means to him. So when he makes a piece of content that is top of funnel, it really comes down to like the format. The format of his top of funnel is just like super simple short reels, 5 to 7 seconds long, right? It's like a little hook, then boom, read the caption, kind of clickbait the person, right? But they can blow up very easy. So like weird things I do to not overeat part 2, 5 filling fast food orders under 600 calories with 40 plus grams of protein. You can see like these are topics, right, that would attract somebody into his audience who would want to get in shape. But the format is quite shallow. The format actually doesn't provide a whole bunch of value, if that makes sense. And that's why these are able to get over 100,000 views. And so that brings in that initial follow. But then this bottom of funnel conversion content is what actually gets people to, really understand what's going on here, right? Really understanding who you are, what do you do, why do you do it, how do you do it? And so I pulled a couple here. There's a lot more. But basically bottom of funnel conversion content it's going to be focused on being educational. So like really breaking down like how to move from A to B, how to move from current situation to where you want to go, showcasing your expertise. These two right here showcase that. These are like client testimonials or free coaching. They get a taste of what your coaching would be like. So you can see a couple testimonials right in here. There's a lot of ways to do bottom of funnel. We can look at the content strategy, and I'll be working some more stuff for that soon. But when it comes to that, man, think about it this way, all right? What is one problem I can help somebody achieve? That's what bottom of funnel is. But then once again, make sure it passes through the prism. The prism over here. The prism is your brand journey framework, that 12-section document I gave to everybody. It's inside the school, by the way, if you need it. All right, make sure it passes through all this stuff right here. That's bottom of funnel. I'll ask you guys questions at the end if you got any questions about that. But like that's what we're doing over on Instagram Reels, a combination of top of funnel and bottom of funnel. When it comes to the stories, the second part of this funnel, it's all the 5 pillars of the story flow, right? So daily stories to build high value relationships with people in your audience through the 5-pillar story flow. And then also I'll break this down, the show, expand, and dig method to get your audience to see you through a coaching lens. So we should all understand this. We should be sharing all of our daily actions, all of our daily routines, all of our kind of like daily coaching thoughts inside of our content. And to make that like really tangible, understand, do a wake up post, right? Show yourself what you do in the morning, waking up early, getting after it. A value post, right? What's something of value you can provide to somebody? This can be like overcoming a limiting belief. This can be a mindset shift. Right here, we have like a little diagram about unconscious incompetence and moving from, there to conscious incompetence, then conscious competence, then et cetera, right? That's just something that he found valuable, that he saw, that he was like, I'm going to share this with my audience. And we're all on Instagram every single day. You guys can't lie here. Everyone here has probably at least like 4 hours of screen time every single day. There's got to be something that you're seeing that you're like, this was valuable, right? Repost it. Clients less self-work post. So if you got clients, show yourself working on them. And if you don't have clients, just show yourself working on yourself, or just do a little bit of both, right? So we got a little macro track right here. Clients less self-win post, right? So show your clients winning or just show yourself winning, right? If you got no clients, just show yourself winning every single day. And some people are scared of repetition. They're kind of scared of maybe showing their transformation or showing a reel, or just any type of transformation they've had, some type of win they had. Sometimes they're scared of like repetition inside of it. But, we understand getting in shape and making a transformation, it's all about repetition. So then it becomes like, well, what is wrong with repetition? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with repetition. It's exactly what you need to make a change. And then a coaching post as well. And what I mean by a coaching post is it's really this right here. It's the show, expand, and dig method. So throughout the day, you want to be just showing what you're doing, right? That's the simple fundamentals of how to use your stories appropriately, right? Show what you're doing and expand on why you're doing it or how it helped you out. And even showing could just be like showing a thought that you had. So I'll use this analogy right here. He's about to go on like vacation or go on a trip or something. Or I think he was actually talking about one of his clients. His clients had a question of like, how do I stay in shape while traveling? And so I think it like started off with showing what was going on. So guys, as a client asked me, he's going on vacation. How does he stay in shape while doing it? Right. Starts to expand on that. Right. Actually talking about what he was telling the viewer, or telling the client, I should say, and then digging into the viewer's actual struggle. Right. So I think the digging part of this one, if I remember correctly, saying weird words here, was simply just like, and a lot of you guys, you just get completely out of shape when you go on vacation because you simply just don't understand how to stay in shape while going on vacation. Or you're following an unrestricted diet plan that doesn't allow flexibility. And so, when you're not on top of, your routine back at home, everything goes out the window. All of a sudden you can't stay in shape anymore. And is that really an actual sustainable plan, or is that just X, Y, and Z? That's actually digging into that struggle the viewer may have. And once again, come back to the prism over here. All right. His brand positioning is like, these coaches who are giving you chicken and rice and boring and restrictive diets are fucking you up. And my opposite stance is you need a sustainable diet plan. All right. So that's how he's actually providing coaching posts through that. Showing what he's doing, expanding on it, and the digging. And once again, this needs to all pass through that prism. All right. I'll have questions at the end. And then with the YouTube as well. So having a YouTube ecosystem of heavy hitters to educate your audience on, once again, who you are, what do you do, why do you do it, and how do you do it in order to accelerate conversion and decrease the buying cycle. Buying cycle simply means how fast does somebody buy from each person in your audience. That's what YouTube's for. Yo, Christopher, make sure you mute you. I hear some stuff going on. Thank you, brother. So here's like my favorite kind of formats for YouTube, kind of my favorite topics is I like full guides or like VSLs. You can kind of think of them as well. Full guides are great, man. That's pretty much where you sit down and you say to yourself, like, what's something I know a lot about that I can make a full guide out of? That's it. Long form education on a specific thing, breaking down step by step what to do in order to achieve a specific transformation. That's all a full guide simply is, right? Second one is going to be raw guides or day in the life guides. So raw guides are maybe where it's a little less editing. Maybe you're just kind of like talking to the camera. Or day in the life is like, it's still like a guide, but you're bringing them through a day in the life, which I actually is one of my favorite pieces of content is the day in the life guide. It is a bit hectic to make, but it's really good. So this is pretty much like a raw video breaking down how to make a specific transformation / like present a day in the life / presented in a day in the life format to make it more entertaining and easier to comprehend, if that makes sense. In case any of you guys are like, well, I don't want to get super boring with slideshows or Miro boards or stuff like that. A raw guide or a day in the life guide is also a great way to go. You can check out Andrew or Ari's channel to kind of see this. I've done these as well. If you got any questions, come to me. Third type of content pillar I like is vlogs / documentation. So any type of video log, any type of just documenting anything is also a great piece of content. So we got Ari's like first bodybuilding show over here. Adam, I know you're working on one of those. Can't wait to see it. But a vlog legging people into the behind the scenes of your life / documenting the journey you are on. It's the biggest thing. You could even start a series over on YouTube, like, day one of trying to help 100 men get in shape. Just fucking go with it. It's not about the actions you take. It's about following through with the actions, right? And the person who is the most creative online will always win. It's all about being creative. And here's the hard thing about being creative nowadays is a lot of us look for validation in our creative ideas online. We go, oh, this is a good idea I have. And then you go look for it online. You're like, oh, no one else is uploading it, so let me not upload it. Like, bro, it's a raw, authentic idea. Fucking run with it. You think Elon Musk saw some other car brand and was like, let me make Tesla? No, he was like the first motherfucker to make an electric car and succeeded with it, I should say. So whenever you get those raw thoughts and inspirations, just run with them. And then case studies. Oh my God, I've been trying to get on Ari to make case studies and everyone getting case studies. Make case studies. So important, especially if somebody reaches out in your DMs and they book in a call with you. Send them a case study. All right. Case study is so important. So exact breakdowns of how your clients use your offer and unique mechanism to achieve a transformation. This right here is a case study. Right? We got to make things like this happen. You could do a case study on yourself. A case study on yourself is also still like a full guide pretty much. But pretty much the fundamentals of a case study is breaking down how you or somebody else used your offer. Once again, your offer is simply just like, how did you make something happen, right? What's the fundamental learning lessons? That's what creates your offer. Unique mechanism is, once again, that prism, like what's unique about it to achieve your transformation, right? Your unique viewpoint and things. So those are my 4 favorite pillars for YouTube. And then now we move deeper in the funnel, right? We got Reels down, we got Stories down, we got YouTube down. Now we're moving on to conversion mechanisms. So these are going to be the best practices for getting viewers to book in calls with you. So of course we got Stories, right? People reach out from Stories, and we'll go into something later, which a lot of people don't talk about, which is actually outreaching to people. But Stories inside the DMs to Calendly, we all understand that one, hopefully. Number 2, which a lot of people are sleeping on, is ManyChat automations on Reels. So you can go to ManyChat.com. It's a simple software that allows you to set up automation. So when somebody comments like a keyword on one of your posts, they get sent something like a free guide. And guys, it's 2025. You can go to ChatGPT, you write up a free guide to achieve your dream body by fucking summer, put it nicely in a Google Doc, boom, you got like a free lead magnet. You know, and you can just start saying comment physique and I'll send you a full free guide on how to achieve your dream physique by summer. Boom, you get an inbound DM from that, right? That goes to your DMs, you talk to them, you get them on Calendly. And number 3 is YouTube description. The conversion mechanism I recommend using if you're going to do YouTube, and we have all the shit you need inside of the school, is going to be Typeform to DMs to Calendly. So simply they fill out a type form first. Don't just put the Calendly link in the description. People are too scared to book in. So if you do a type form, you can get their information. Then you reach out to them inside the DMs. Then you book them in. We don't got to go too much over that, but those are the conversion mechanisms, right? Get them book in, hop on Zoom, and then cash collect. Now, that's the bottom of the funnel. Now we start to reverse the funnel, right? Somebody paid, somebody's inside for coaching now, and now it's time to get a transformation. The coaching business, it's pretty much like a Ferris wheel, all right? People are lining up for the Ferris wheel, and you want to get more people to line up for the Ferris wheel. How do you do that? People need to see the people on the Ferris wheel having fun, being excited. If people are on the Ferris wheel and they're scared as fucking hell because they think the thing's going to fall apart, everyone's going to be running away. They're going to be going to some other thing, right? So the Ferris wheel has to look fucking fun. People got to be excited on there. How do you do that? Amazing transformations, right? So marketing sells, but results build a real business. This is why Transformation Accelerator was designed. It's really important. There is a lot of people out there that are extremely successful, extremely rich, which you will never see online because they run their business on results. And so they run on referral basis, right? And don't sleep on referrals. They're great. If you can get one guy to change his life, he may tell 5 of his friends. One of them may come to you. You get him to change his life, they may tell 5 more of his friends. Boom, there's fucking 15 people who know about your shit. And so client success, so important. It's fucking hard. It's really hard, but it's so important. So to do your best to guarantee client results, we can't guarantee shit in life besides death and taxes, is use the stuff I give you inside of Transformation Accelerator, all this stuff right here, so you can get the best client transformations ever. And when it comes to that, it's up to you to coach your clients. They come to you, they say they want to lose 10 pounds. You say, no, brother, you're losing fucking 25 and you're getting on stage. You know, it's like 10 times their goals all the time. Push them to always try to achieve more. And that would be really the reverse side of the funnel. And that's what really helped the coaching business rip, because this right here becomes bottom of funnel content, right? So that's why the funnel actually reverses, because when you get that good shit, you're able to bring it back up here to the bottom of funnel, bring it through to right here, bring it through to YouTube, and it all comes back around, if that makes sense. And so that's pretty much like a self-perpetuating system, if you want to think about it that way. You just got to get one person to come through it. And if you get that one person to really do well down here, and you can use them all the way up through here once again, it's really easy to scale. I think Justin inside this call, Justin Hall said maybe is, maybe isn't. There's that one client transformation that really helped my business, man. It really was. I had a lot of good ones, but Justin's was fucking insane. To get somebody to lose like 80 pounds in a year was gnarly. So that helped out a lot. So those are the 2 things to attract the right people into your audience. Using the reverse psychology technique, right? Thinking backwards instead of thinking forwards. I know it sounds contrary, but that's good. Think about the end outcome first, build backwards, and then applying all that to the acceleration funnel as well, right? And that's how it's broken down. Now we're going to move on to something that I haven't really talked about much before, which is the unscalable actions method. So let's ask yourself this question here really quick. Who is more likely to succeed? Number one, the person who cares more about the road to make money, or number two, the person who cares more about money. Which two people in this world are more likely to succeed? The person who cares about how he achieves his goal, or the person who's just like, I don't care what it takes, I'm going to achieve my goal either way. Anybody with 5 IQ is going to say the person who cares about achieving the goal the most, right? That's most important. I don't care how I get there, I'm just going to get there, right? And so there's a lot of people out there telling you just to rely on inbound DMs. And in my opinion, they're setting you up for failure, right? They really are. I see it all the time online. People say just rely on this one thing, rely on this one thing. You should not just rely on this one thing, brother. Here's Alex Hormozi's advice. There are 4 key ways to get leads, right? It's from warm outreach, cold outreach, posting free content, which gets you inbound leads, and running paid ads, which gets you inbound leads. Excuse me. There's pretty much these 4 ways to get people to know about your shit and buy your shit. Those are the 4 ways. Yet a lot of people tell you to rely on one. There's people out there, rely on just inbound, bro, or rely on just cold outbound, bro, or just rely on paid ads, bro. Why don't we utilize all of them? And here's a little secret, bro. Over 80% of Ari's income has came from warm outreach. Warm outreaching his leads by sparking casual conversations, right? A lot of people are scared to reach out sometimes to people online. They really are. And so if we go out there and we spark conversations, we're going to be a lot more likely to make some damn money. It's just like, bro, you see the hot girl at the gym. Are you ever going to get her on a date if you don't warm outreach her? You're going to wait for her to fucking warm inbound you? No, bro, you got to go talk to her, spark that initial convo, get her fucking phone number. Then you can start building rapport. Then you close the deal. You go on a date. Then you upsell. Simple as that, right? So here's how to do this, okay? With all of that, you're going to get warm inbounds. It may not be a whole bunch, maybe a couple a month. But this is how to get those, this is how to start doing warm outreach, which is where 80% of that money came from. So step number 1, optimize your Instagram profile. Pretty simple. We got everything set up for that. Professional looking photo, make it look well. The perfect 3-line and VSL bio. So first line, who do you help out? Second line, DM keyword. Third line, call to action. Fourth line, once you get it set up, the VSL linked right there. Simple as that. Set up highlights containing incredible proof as well. Incredible proof of your own transformation and incredible proof of you, maybe waking up and hitting your fucking routine every single day. Incredible proof of your client transformations, incredible proof of you eating well, whatever it may be, right? That's why you want to post a lot of stories so you can make really good highlights. And then daily stories without fail. Ari has posted fucking all of his daily stories without fail, every single day for the past 6 months. And that's why he achieved the results he has achieved. And a lot of those were still when he was working that, I don't know what that job was, 7 to 4, some shit like that, 7 to 3, I can't remember. But let's say 9 to 5. Just get the job done, all right? Make it top of mind. And then step number 2 is to spark conversations daily. So where do you do this? Where do you actually warm outreach to people? First off, to people who like your bottom of funnel reels. Once again, bottom of funnel is that really specific content that isn't made to go viral, but it's made to provide education. It's made to showcase your expertise. It's made to provide free coaching, right? Those are the people you reach out to inside the likes. That's the best place to reach out to people. And also story likers, new followers, commenters, etc. These are the people you can just start casual conversations with. Now, I'm not saying try to close the person right away. If your content ecosystem just isn't set up appropriately yet, don't try to close them right away. Just casual conversation with the person. I'll teach you exactly how to do that. So initial outreach happens right here. Yo, Zach, saw that you liked my post on X, X topic. I appreciate that, man. Are you falling for the content or are you actually looking to get in shape yourself? Casual conversation, just seeing if this person wants to watch your shit or if they want to get in shape themselves. And then discover their goals. If they say, oh, just the content, keep it light. You really just know they're kind of just fucking off inside of your content. But if they say, oh, bro, I'm looking to get in shape myself. Well, that's how you know you did a good job with educational content. They actually came to your page because they're like, oh, this guy can help me get in shape. So they say, getting in shape, and then you dive deeper. Here's a little flow for it. Gotcha. So what's the main goal you're trying to chase right now? You kind of talk about goals for a little, you know, that's solid, bro. And beyond that, what's the real end vision for you? Like, what's the ultimate outcome? And that's where you're trying to turn their goal, their surface level goal, into a big goal. All right. You're the coach. It's up to you to think big. Just because somebody says this small little goal does not mean that's what they want. A lot of people want more, but they're too scared to say it. And so you got to pull it out of them and then expose the pain, right? Respect that, bro. And, you know, what's kind of been like the hardest part about hitting that goal? Or, you know, how long have you been plateaued, right? How long have you been trying to lose that stubborn belly fat? Or, got you, bro, you know, what have you already tried on your own? And then this one right here definitely comes a little bit later, but have you ever worked with a coach before? You don't have to say this one. It's really a closer question, like something you can say on the call, but it's just there for examples. Biggest thing here is just like trying to dig down and really find the pain somebody's struggling with. And then this is that golden question, right? Once they spilled the pain, well, brother, do you want help with that? And that shifts you from casual to professional. Then you have the short conversation about what it looks like. Boom, you book them in. You get them on a call. That's pretty much the step-by-step script you followed in accordance to actually like having a real genuine conversation with somebody. But those are along the lines of the psychology. And so that right there is sales. And sales is fulfilling enough trust and belief, right? And so once again, to break it down, bring people from reels to stories to DMs to YouTube to Calendly. Those are all the spots you want to bring people to. And right here is a reporting of a sales tracker. You can see outbound followers, a whole bunch of them. There's a lot more up here that are inbounds and stuff like that, but just want to showcase that to you. Don't just have to rely on inbounds, right? Be proactive, get in conversations with people. Let's change some lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm sitting down with Ari Sokol. He has become one of the best students inside of PR Accelerator over the past 4 months. If you follow me anywhere, you've heard of him and you've seen what he's done. He's gone from pretty much $0 a month working a 9 to 5 to last month making $44.5 thousand with his online fitness coaching business with only 10,000 followers. And today we're going to be sitting down and interviewing him and walking you guys through step by step exactly what he did over the past 4 months to make this transformation, because it blew my expectations away. I never expected for this to happen. And now he's here sitting with me in Miami, potentially even going to move out here as well. And he's just completely done a 180 in his life, which is absolutely amazing. But I want to sit down with him and give you guys the raw value you may need to also achieve similar results as Ari, because you've seen the case studies, you've heard it from me, but now I want you to hear it from actually Ari. So Ari, I'll allow you to actually introduce yourself here. I want you to give me a little bit of background about yourself, kind of before I knew you, like 4 or 5 months ago. I know you now, but like catch people up to speed. Where were you 4 to 5 months ago? What was Ari's life looking like?
It's a good question. I was at a 9 to 5 desk job. I was in shape, preparing for a bodybuilding show, had a 6-pack abs. The guy next to me at my job was fat, super fat, and I was like, why am I working here? I have this skill that I can leverage of getting in amazing shape. And, it's been a dream of mine to be an online fitness coach and, have financial and location freedom, being able to change lives through fitness for 2 years. But I never really took action because I was too scared and it was a risk and I didn't have a lot of money. And then, it didn't change when I graduated from college about a year ago and went to this 9 to 5 job. And I knew that there was never going to be a perfect time. The not having the money, rather than that being the problem that stopped me from starting, is actually the symptom of not having the skills to start. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I went all in. I remember seeing you on TikTok about 2 years ago when I was also growing. We were both trying to be influencers at that time. And, I didn't monetize, and I know you didn't monetize then. And then you started monetizing on Instagram, and I saw how well you were doing. And I'm just here and I'm like, wait, why am I not doing this? So then I felt like I need to reach out to you. Mm-hmm. And since then, to wrap it up, I was just at a job that I didn't like.
Right. I know, when did you kind of start taking it seriously? Was it like January of 2025? I knew a couple months before you kind of joined on, you were like, all right, I'm going to actually try to build this coaching business, start posting some content. I mean, you were doing that before that. I think you had 80,000 on TikTok or something like that?
Literally 20,000.
Okay, so you gained some followers, you got some views, didn't really monetize. It was beginning of the year, you were doing another bodybuilding show, posting a little bit more seriously, right? So tell me, kind of leading up until we decided to work together, what did that all look like? And for how long did you kind of struggle to start that coaching business? I know when you came to me, I think you were almost, negative?
Yeah, I was negative.
Yeah, run me through that series of events.
So January 2025, I saw some ad from a scam mentor. And he was friends with the mentor that you've been scammed from in the past.
Right. Those 7K mentorships.
Yeah, with people that have no background in fitness coaching. Anyways, he just basically didn't tell me what to do except show me. He's like, sit down, figure out an offer, figure out a niche, and then record an ad and run ads. And literally that's it. I had no structure, no funnel. I didn't know what a funnel was. I had no video sales letter. I had no optimized content mechanism. I had absolutely nothing laid out. So when I paid for people, first of all, the ad was shit. And then people came to my page and saw no professionalism at all, saw no funnel to lead to. It was just super broken. I ended up just wasting a bunch of money on ads. I was in the negative.
How much were you spending a day?
On ads, probably maybe like $100. I don't know. And you know, I closed maybe 1 to 2 clients, but in 4 months, maybe, yeah. So I was just flushing my money down the toilet. And I was trying, the thing was, like, I invested my money, which held me more accountable to myself making it work, but I didn't have the right structure, guidance, and support to actually make it happen the proper way. Until I was like, enough is enough. You know, I need to do something else. I canceled my credit card, so that dude couldn't charge me anymore because he scammed me. And then I invested in another course from Jack, and I put about, $500 down to get started there. That's all I had in my account. And then even with the course, like, there was some good value in there. It's definitely helpful, but I knew I needed that one-on-one support, and I couldn't, I saw like how many people that he had in there, and like I heard you had to wait 3 weeks for a one-on-one call, and I just needed. I obviously saw you, and I was like, this guy, he seems very proactive. He seems like he actually cares. We were on a sales, or you were like selling me.
We had a full hour-and-a-half call.
Yeah,
you just couldn't make the payment happen.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half. I saw how much you cared, and we're actually trying to help. And like genuinely, and I like try to apply for all these credit cards to actually make it work because I really wanted to, but I just couldn't make it work. So until I was able to save up a small amount, probably like the smallest available thing that you would accept, and then I went from that day. You're like, we're gonna get on a call right away. Like, I'm ready in 30 minutes. And I was like, I love this. Like this, I have someone that actually cares one-on-one, able to like walk me through it. That's exactly what I needed. And then since then, I remember 2 weeks later, I signed 3 clients. Literally 2 weeks later, signed 3 clients, quit my job. And ever since then, I remember I was at like 3K, then 8.5, then 10. And then all of a sudden, like 44.5, like just off the charts. Like,
yeah, I think a good thing you mentioned there is, though, you invested into some people, which is a good step in the right direction, but those some people didn't actually do what you were looking to accomplish. It was just like, oh, I can help you make money online. So you're like, oh, okay, let me pay you. But they didn't accomplish exactly what you want to accomplish.
Right.
Up until you invested into people who did exactly what you want to do, which was, run up their own coaching business. Did you get the right knowledge and the right implementation and the right guidance through that to actually make it work out? That's a mistake a lot of people made that I even made. Some guy online like, oh, I can help you make money. Doesn't matter the business model. This is like, well, I joined on, and I come to find out there was 3-minute video modules of just him saying some stuff you could find on YouTube. Nothing specific for me. I think that's most important is you need that specific knowledge if you want to master what you're in.
Exactly.
And that's why you're able to like grow so fast. I mean, you went from pretty much 0 to like 8.5 within 30 days. Right. Because you signed a couple high ticket coaching clients. I remember that first 3.5 you made, you were like ecstatic. And then once you figured out the exact process to sign a $3,500 client, you've repeated it probably 20 times or something like that. At
least, bro.
You understand exactly what it takes. And you're able to go through that and make more of it happen. You've even closed like 5K deals as well, which is
5.5.
Yeah, which is phenomenal as well. But once you figured out how to sign that first high ticket client,
I'll never go broke again.
No, you'll never go broke again. You ripped. Okay, so Yeah, I could see the passion you right away. And I remember in that first call, you just poured your heart out for like 45 minutes. I was like, is this guy going to stop talking eventually? But I
don't
loved
do
it
that.
because the more data I have, the better I understand you. And you just really had that heart and soul. And that's really what it takes. I think that's why most people fail, not only
I
in life,
agree.
but especially inside of mentorships, because they just don't have what it takes, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
You could have the entire how, but if you aren't the who, you're failing, bro. You know, but you had the who, you just didn't have the how.
Right.
And that's what we figured out. The first thing we did, I remember, is just like, first off, kind of like dialing your message and stuff like that. But we made that video sales letter because you didn't have a funnel in place, right? You remember how we went through with that?
I mean, video sales letter was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you scripted it all out. You're like, listen, this is going to be sick. This is going to rip like hotcakes. I remember that exact phrase. I was like, all right, I'm taking his word for it. Like, it's going to rip like hotcakes. And then you told me, you're like, go wake up, show them how you're going to get in shape doing your 9-to-5 job. Your niche is you. Like, you just taught me all this shit. And then you scripted it all out. And I like did it once and you're like, no, do it again. It's not authentic enough. And I was like kind of pissed off, but I was like, I need this to be good. I'll just trust him. And then I did it again. And I was always super quick to do what you told me to do. You're like, do this in a week. I was like, all right, I'm doing it in a week. Like, no fucking negotiation. I want this to happen. I need this to happen. It's not want. So then I just did it, executed it, and all of a sudden it started ripping like hotcakes.
Yep.
Like, now it's by far like one of the most viewed YouTube. Like,
I was like a 50 times outlier.
yeah, it's a 50 times outlier compared to my subscribers, and
Yeah.
it's generated me tens of thousands of dollars. And I mean,
Oh, yeah.
without that VSL that I still use, which is super crucial to nurturing every single potential like prospect, or some people have came in from YouTube as well. Without it, there's no way that I would have had this level of success. Everyone knows who I am, what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. Before hopping on the call, they're already sold and ready to go. And then I just find their situation and they buy, you know?
Yeah, I am proud of you for that, because I think it was like Thursday we hopped on, discussed VSL. You came back to me like Friday or Saturday with the footage. I'm like, no, this isn't good. And then you had the next footage like Sunday, and you had it out by like Monday or Tuesday. You moved so quick with it. And I have some guys who take weeks, even months, to get their VSL done. So like success favors speed is a big part of it,
100%.
because you move fast with it, because you move fast with everything. That's why you achieve like great success. And that's a big learning lesson, is like move fast. Don't care about doing things wrong. I don't think you can really go quite wrong in business if you're just starting out. If you're anywhere below like $10,000 a month, there's nothing you can do wrong, because 0 to 10,000 is literally just pure action. After there, it comes to scaling, which is
Right.
looking at what's working and do more of what's working. But you
Yeah.
have no clue what's working because you haven't taken enough action. So you just simply have to do more.
Right.
So because you moved quick, that was amazing. And I took a little bit different of an approach for you. We didn't do like a regular slideshow VSL, which is what I teach a lot of people to do. We did a day in the life VSL, you know, because I was like, well, his niche is helping 9-to-5ers or like busy adults get in shape. And I'm like, what would be the best way to communicate those 4 pillars of marketing? Who you are, what do you do for people, why do you do this, and how do you do it? You know, yeah, we could have a slideshow showing like, hey, here's what you do while working the job, and here's how I get 10,000 daily steps. But the fact that somebody was able to see you doing that while also talking about it was like undeniable proof that you know what you're doing. And I think that's why it works so, so, so well. Because if you want to rip, especially with online fitness coaching, it's like you got to be a guide, not like a preacher. You got to be a guide. You got to be guiding them through the exact process that worked for you. And that's why it works so, so, so well. And people love that, especially because, and this is a big learning lesson, because of that first couple of minutes where you got really personal and really vulnerable.
Without that,
first
it's
couple of minutes
nothing.
of video. Yeah. Talk to me about that. And talk to me about like that entire like VSL, going through that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so like pretty much the specifics, you know, I get up, I show like that I'm shredded, right? I'm like, here's how I get in shape, working 9 to 5. Like I'm actually doing the actions, like you said, guiding people. I'm practicing what I preach. That's the biggest thing. People won't, if people see me in amazing shape and then they see what I do and then they want that for themselves. But I'm showing undeniable proof, like you said. So I'm getting up, getting ready for my day, and then I get in the Uber ride, getting ready to go to work. And then from there, you're like, that's the only time you didn't really tell me exactly what to say, pretty much. But you're like, just open up about your past. And it was like super early in the morning. I was off no sleep because that job, I fucking hated that job. Got up at like 6:30 every morning. But I was in the Uber ride and I was just like, back in high school, like I was always searching for external validation. You know, I never felt fulfilled from the inside. And like I was talking about what got me into fitness and what made me so passionate about it, and how how I like was misguided in the past and kept failing, and then I finally figured out the key to getting in shape, and I knew it was my purpose in life to really change others' lives through fitness. And automatically, any potential client that watches that gains immediate trust and connection with me because they see I'm this genuine dude who's been through it before, and that they're trying to really, really help and really care. They can see my care and passion for fitness before they're even on the call. And then I get to work and I'm like, I'll see you at lunch. And I show me working. And I'm like, now here's my lunch meal. It's actually like a nice chicken sandwich, like low calorie. And they're like, oh, he's eating good food too. So I'm showing about my sneak it in system, how you can eat good foods and still be in amazing shape. And then I show them in depth exactly about where most people fail in the yo-yo cycle, like an in-depth chart board.
My board.
Yeah. Of how I got in amazing shape, like what most people do, and then how to do it properly, and then how you can do it for yourself. And I just provide so much value that it almost hurts to give away all that value, but really just trying to help people. I'm not trying to sell people on me. I'm trying to show who I am, what I do, and how I do it. And then really, really giving them clarity on how they could do it for themselves. But still, people aren't buying the knowledge. They're buying the implementation and accountability. So then I go down and I, show the transformations, and I'm like, okay, you have two options. You could do this for you. Hopefully it works out, or you could book a call with me down below and I'll see if I can help. But I'm just really like chill about it. I show my life. I show why I care, who I am. And that video alone just builds so much connection with people that when they're on the call, they have no questions. And that's the only reason there's objections. I never get objections ever, right? People are just ready to buy. They're like, I really resonated with this spot of you. Like it's crazy how similar we are. Whenever they say that, it's an automatic buy,
Right.
That VSL is everything.
I know something that set you apart from a lot of the people I worked with, a lot of people I see, is like you had a really clear vision on who your ICP is. You literally had a full piece of paper listing out who this person Jason is.
Yeah.
And you really kind of understood your niche as well. And that's what allowed you to speak so directly to people inside that VSL and also inside of all of your content. That's why your content funnel works so smoothly, because you have that clarity in your offer, which equals confidence in buyer, is what I like to say. And that's like probably people's biggest struggle point is like, wait, how do I get clear on the offer? How do I get clear on my ICP? I want to ask you, how did you do that? What were the steps you took to get really clear on your ICP? Jason, and I would argue to say Jason is pretty much just you.
Exactly.
Like if I look at that piece of paper, it pretty much just breaks down your story.
Yeah.
How'd you get clear on that?
Yeah, it's just me. Exactly what you said. I just sat down and thought, what's my story? And then I put someone else's name under it. Everyone's so quick to be like busy professional or like something that they haven't done themselves, and they don't actually have authority in that topic. And the true ICP is the old version of you. So I sat down with myself and I really in the shower, I remember when I was first starting, you don't just come up with a niche right away. Okay, done. You sit down and think about your story and what got you into fitness and your pain that you had, your specific pain. And then your specific goals for pleasure. And I was talking about how I was overlooked and I put my all into something and failed. I was talking about basketball and all these very, very specific pain points, which was literally the old version of me, that when I talk specifically to, and it's niche down, there's people that resonated with it. And it's like, he's talking about my exact situation. And that's the person I love to work with because I'm just a step ahead.
Yeah, I think it resonates with people because it's so real. You speak with emotion with it, and I think if you don't transfer emotion through the screen with what you're speaking about, then no one feels it.
Yeah.
Because 7% of human communication is what you say, the other 93% is how you say it, the energy you transfer with it.
Yeah.
And that's why it works out so well for you. And I see a lot of the people when they start posting their content, it's like, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like it's actually them. And I think what's helped me with content as well is I'm just making content for the younger me. And that's all you're doing as well.
Right.
That's why you've seen great success with it. So make sure you take away that your niche is you. Your ICP, your ideal client profile, is literally the person you were 6 months ago, because coaching only helps out the people a couple steps behind you. As we just saw, we both hired $7,000 mentors who never achieved success in the place we want to achieve success.
Yeah.
And the reason that we ultimately failed inside of there is because coaching is for the people just a couple steps behind you trying to achieve exactly what you want to achieve.
And that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah, right.
That's the exact reason.
So we rip the VSL, we get that in your bio, it's blowing up 1,000 views in a couple days, then all of a sudden it's 5,000 views a month later, something like that. And then you start to get calls booked in, right? And I remember this one time, right? You called me up on the phone, or you sent me a text actually. You're like, bro, I just fumbled 3,500. I'm like, what? And I was back home. I live in Miami, but I was back home. and you called me up about that. Run me through that. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
She wanted to get in shape for the marriage, and you
She had
even
a
ran me
wedding.
through the recording of it. When it came to the price, you're like, yeah, it's $3,500. And she's like, what'd she say? Like, I gotta think about it or something. And you're
Yeah,
like, well,
she-
we can finance it, or we can just down payment or monthly. And you just like start compromising for
Yeah.
what you want with what you can have, and you completely fumble it. Yeah, run me through that because you probably best remember it.
Yeah.
Because that call right there changed your sales forever.
Changed
Ever
my-
since then, I don't think we've had a single issue with sales.
No, I'm a beast at sales now.
Right. It was that 1 hour call.
Yeah, you called me after, gave me what I needed to hear. It was so it was right after I joined, and I was still working that 9-to-5 job, and I just needed a couple sales to be able to quit, and I needed it so bad. And I had this scarcity mindset. What is a scarcity mindset? I just needed it so bad. I was placing the value in the potential customer's money rather than the value in my service changing lives. And because of that, I went on the sales call, and I'm like, she reached out to me, inbound lead. She's like, I need to get in shape for my wedding in 6 months. I hate how I look. Like, so much pain. And when they have that much pain, there's a sale, right? Just like how I joined and there was a sale on me because I had so much pain with the job I was working, not being able to get where I wanted to be. Just pain equals sale. So I knew, I was like, this girl needs it really bad. So, you know, I'm on the sales call trying to help her. And then all of a sudden when it comes to price, you know, I'm like, oh, I need this money. Like, my heart starts racing, you know, and I'm like, yeah, at that time I was doing 2,000. That's before I raised my price because I didn't know how to fucking sell yet. So, and then she's like, I don't know, like, everything's tight with the wedding. And I'm like, I could finance it out. Like, I'm just being like a bitch. Like, I was just letting her take the high seat when I'm the one with the value in my service. But I was just thinking about this 2,000 would change my life right now. And then I just knew I fucked it up. I knew I fumbled. I'm like, how did I not sell to her? She needs it so bad, like, for this wedding. And then you get on the call with me. I play it back, and it's like something scratching on a chalkboard. You know what I mean? Like, it was painful to hear, but you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you're letting her take the high seat? You're placing your value in her money and not your service. Like, she needs you way more than you need her. And I'm like, you're right. He's like, bro, you know how many clients there's so many people that need this service. That money means nothing to you. I don't care if it's going to change your life. You have to act like it means nothing to you and only care about helping her and providing her that life transformation she needs. Because I was trying to handle the objection, not getting to the root cause of like what her problem was that was making it hard for her to start. And instead I was just like, oh, you could pay me this way, or you could pay me this way, instead of like caring about her. Right. And that was the biggest problem. And from that day on, I shifted from a scarcity mindset to I need this money to an abundance mindset. They need my service. If they don't want it, I mean, you could stay the way you are, but I'm here to help you, and I know the value of my service, and I'm not willing to budge. Right. And ever since, it was that mindset shift. It's not that I didn't know what to say on the sales call. It's that my mindset was backwards. And then we hopped on a follow-up call, and I was like, and then I had the abundance mindset all of a sudden. Oh, paid in full. And then I raised my price almost 2,000 from there, from 2,000 to 3,500. And then people were like, sounds good. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm happy to help. You know, ever since literally just the mindset tweak. I'm good at sales. I'm good at talking to people. And my mindset was just skewed in the opposite way. And right when I learned that shifting from a scarcity to an abundance mindset, regardless of how much this money's going to change my life, I got to act like I don't need it regardless. Now it is kind of like jump change, but the value has to be placed in the service, and you have to care on a deep level, just like you cared on a deep level about helping me. And I could sense it. It goes the same thing for your prospect. And now that's what I've carried on with me forever. That's changed everything for me. I've never had a problem with sales. And it just changed my entire life.
Yeah, that's how you become a master at sales. Sales is the transfer of belief. And so when you believe that the transformation is more valuable than the money the prospect will pay you for that transformation, that's when you close the deal, because you're so confident, you're so convicted in what you're saying in that call that person will naturally allow you to take leadership of their life. Especially with fitness coaching, they are giving up a part of their life for your leadership. So they need to feel that energy transference, and especially that belief in your ability to deliver and transform their life especially because they don't believe it themselves. And that's when they'll be like, yeah, let's make this happen. I'll send you that 2K. I'll send you that 3K. I'll send you that 4K. Doesn't matter what it costs. I believe in you. I want to make this happen. And that's how you just crush sales. That's how you crush those paid in fulls, especially. Right. It's the transfer of beliefs.
100%.
If you don't believe in you, then who the hell else is going to believe in you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once again, like you said, take that away. Placing the value in the transformation and not in the money they're going to pay you. That's the biggest part of it. So we crushed the sales. You got down better at the sales. And then VSL rolling, people coming in. And a couple big things I want to note that made you so successful is your just consistency of showing up. It was impeccable. I mean, I don't think there's been a single day you've really missed a story flow.
There hasn't been a single day in absolute months.
Right. And that's what's like provided your audience so much trust in you because you show up. And a lot of people miss out on that. It's like, if you want to be seen as a fitness coach, you got to be seen as somebody who shows up for people. If you can't show up in your free content, then how do they expect you to show up in your paid coaching or content as well?
Exactly.
And you've been showing up 5 to 10 stories plus each and every single day, just being authentically you. And because of that, people, when they're inside of your DMs or about to get on a call with you, they trust you so much, right?
100%.
So talk to me a little bit about your story flow. Talk to me a little bit about your psychology behind that, because that's really what's made a massive difference between, you know, the successful people and let's say the less successful people when it comes to fitness coaching.
Yeah. First of all, I show up every single day, not only in my coaching, but in my free content. I'm always trying to provide value, just be authentic, just show myself. But there's always a morning wake up post because I show up that I post that I'm reading my Bible, I do my journal, and I'm checking in with my clients every single morning. It's been at least half a year now since I started. Like, there's not a single day that I don't show up. I don't care how I feel, right? And then I go to a relate and attack is what I like to call it, and at least something. So I post a client win or personal win, whether I'm working on my body or I post a lot of client wins recently. And then I do a relate and attack, for example. So I'm like, this person came to me when she was struggling to get in shape so bad. Like, she was going to the gym, eating healthy, but for some reason she couldn't see any results. And I know how painful that feels. It's miserable. And you're pushing pain for somebody else that's in her exact situation of before she came to me. And then I'm like, it's embarrassing, like putting in all this work and not seeing the results. It's truly demoralizing. Like, I've been in that spot, and until she came to me and started to finally realize that less is more and what she was doing was not intentional enough is when now she finally sees the fruits of her labor and is able to work half as hard and finally get significantly better results. I'm so proud of her. And it makes people feel like they're left out. They resonate with her story. Now they saw her losing weight in the first picture, but that's not enough. It doesn't matter until they understand that she was in the exact same situation that viewer hypothetically is in, and it entices them to reach out to you because you've helped somebody else out of that exact situation that they're in. And then it's all buyer psychology. And I don't post a CTA. I see so many people like, I have 2 spots left in coaching, DM me keyword. I don't post CTAs. It makes you look desperate. Instead, I'm just like, I'm proud of her. She did what she needed to do in order to make this transformation, and keep it up. Keep up the good work. And it makes that's way more powerful than like a written CTA. It's a layered call to action. And then, so that's like the relate, and then the attack. So if this sounds like you're in this spot where you've been, you know, going to the gym, eating healthy, but you haven't seen any results, like, what are you willing to do? How badly do you want this? What are you going to keep trying to do the same thing that you've been doing without seeing results? Because that's Albert Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Or are you going to do whatever it takes and reach out to somebody who's been in your shoes before, for example, or do some more research or explore changing things up, realizing that what you're doing right now is not working? Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what this client that I just talked about did. And that's why she is where she is. And then saying that, leaving it like that, don't tell anyone to reach out to me, but they're like, that's it. I need the same transformation. Reach out to me, begging me in the DMs for my service. Right? That's how you get people begging for you to work with you, rather than I have 2 people available. Like, no one's going to fucking beg you for that. People see right through that. And then I just post my day to day. I make my life a reality show on my story. The reason people line up to Kylie Jenner's lip gloss is because they know her on a deep level through her reality TV show. She has no idea who they are. If I make my life a reality show on social media through my Instagram story flow, and because of that, I build deep connection with people. They feel like they know me, they know my humor, they know my personality, they know my day to day, and then they build that connection and trust with me. And then they see what I do every single day to have the transformation that I have. They obviously know my story of where I started. And because of that, they see the successful actions that I do on a daily basis. They start incorporating some of those in their life. They see how it's going to change their life. They see a little bit of results with replicating the things I do in my story. And then they imagine, I wonder what his paid stuff is like. And then they reach out and they're so enticed to buy my coaching because they've already gotten value from the free story value. And then through that, and then I just post my life pretty much. But I always have these specific pillars that I post every single day, always some talking heads, always just like a behind the scenes, what I'm eating, my working out, and my wake up, and etc. You know, I'm in Miami right now. I'm posting me in the Corvette or whatever, like this podcast at the gym, just showing people what I do, building connection with my audience.
Yeah, I say a lot of people, like with their stories, they're just having people observe their life and not actually be inspired by it. And the way you actually shift people from inspiration to observation is you like to use analogies to help people start
Always.
coaching themselves for free, pretty much. You know, so like you as the coach, is up to you to help people actually digest their mind and get to think about things in different ways to achieve the success they want. But the way you do it in your free content, your stories, is you use a lot of analogies. And I've seen this a lot. You'll take like a little analogy of, you know, maybe you're going on a vacation, you're traveling, and you'll tell you, this is what I'm going to do to get in shape. Kind of explain to me, how do you go about using analogies to help your clients start seeing you in a coaching frame, but also developing that mindset they need to start making progress on their own in your free content?
So first of all, when you use a lot of analogies, it makes people love to listen to you because you're able to shift their mindset. You're able to get them to start thinking of things in ways that they've never realized before. For example, you have to have a deep emotion. This is an example of analogy that would get people to be like, oh my God, he's right, and start thinking of it in a different way and make progress because of that. You need to be able to have a deep emotional connection with your fitness goals. Picture this, you know, there's some random person at the airport and they need help, and you know they need help at 2 a.m. There's no Ubers around, and you're stuck in bed, and like they call you and you have no idea who they are to come pick them up. Are you going to do it? It would be the nice thing to do. You would really contemplate it. But imagine that was your mom in that scenario. You're not going to think about how you feel. You're going to go do it because you have a deep emotional connection with your mom, and you're going to do whatever it takes to bring her home. You don't even contemplate it. Same thing goes with your fitness goals. Imagine if you don't really care that much. You don't really have you don't feel like you know your motive on a deep level. How do you expect to let any minor inconvenience not stop you from falling off? But if you know your deep emotional connection with your purpose and your motive, and you care about it that much, any little minor inconvenience is going to be nothing. It's going to feel like seamless. You're going to do whatever it takes to reach your goals. And that's like kind of like two drastically different scenarios that you compare together, and people are like, oh, I never really thought about it like that. I do now see how much emotion and true connection with your why is fuel for making sure you reach your goals. And then people start to incorporate their why, and then they realize they get better results, and it makes you fascinating to listen to. They start listening to you for more stuff, and they start thinking of you as their coach, before they even hire you.
Right. Yeah, that's great. So when you reach out to them, because this is a very successful action you do that a lot of people are kind of scared to do, because there's been a lot of this talk online, and it's literally just marketing talk. You know, it's like everybody inbounds me. But in my opinion, it's really important to spark conversations on a daily basis. Doesn't matter how. It can be inbound, it can be outbound, it can be through ads. Doesn't matter how. You just need to be having conversations because money comes from people. And a very successful action you do is you reach out to pretty much every single person inside of your audience who drops you a follow.
Yeah.
In addition, with that story flow, you know, they click through it and they can see, you know, what you're doing inside of there. And that's why when you're doing outbounds, it works so well.
Right.
So you outbound pretty much everybody who drops you a follow, right?
Everyone.
What do you say to them? Like, kind of run people through that dialogue you have.
My warm outbound. Yeah. So I don't reach out to random people, but when people follow me, sometimes they don't look through my story, my whole thing, and they don't really know me on a deep level. Reach out and like, hey, what's going on? It's great to see you're taking your health and body seriously. Where are you from? You know, something genuine.
Casual question.
Yeah, casual. I'm just starting a conversation. Oh, I'm from here. Oh, that's awesome. You know, how long you been there? I'm from Ohio myself. I love working out. Like, I live near my mom. You know, it's nice working out. She's a good gym partner. You know, building rapport. People are like, oh, that's great. You like working out with your mom. You know, start getting an idea of who I am, just having a genuine conversation. And then, yeah, I'm actually trying to be on a fitness journey, like you said, but I'm struggling a little bit. Oh, do you mind if I ask some questions to see if I can help? You know, they're like, are you trying to sell me something? If that happens, I'm like, no, I got nothing to sell you. I'm just wanting to see, you know, if you're struggling at all. I like connecting with my audience and seeing if how their fitness journey is going, and if it's a little bit of a struggle, see if I could offer any help or tips or advice in any way. And then if I deem my service as a perfect solution for their problem, then I will suggest it. But besides that, I'm not there just to sell. I like to, again, it's abundance mindset. You're not there just to make money. It's not in the money. It's in helping people. And then that's what I'm focused on. I like creating conversations and trying to touch every single person that follows me personally as much as possible. And then obviously money comes from conversations. So that's where I've gotten all my revenue in the past months is from reaching out to people. And oftentimes they're like, I was scared to reach out to you. I really appreciate you making the effort and reach out to me. And then they click on my stories and they get nurtured from that, seeing my day-to-day life. And once I see they watch my stories and they watch my YouTube and my VSL, it's over. They already know me on such a deep level and I don't really know them that well. But then they come on the call with so much connection with me and they start looking at me as their coach. And I haven't even really met them yet. They know who I am, what I do, why I do, and how I do it. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're ready to buy. And I just like, I'm getting to know them.
All right.
You know?
And the reason that works so well, and this may be a limiting belief a lot of people have, is you don't need 100,000 followers like me. You know, you are very niche specific with pretty much all of your content. You're not really posting content for views. You're posting content for your audience and to gain another likewise audience inside of your audience. And so when you reach out to people, pretty much most of the time, they're following you for the exact reason you help people out with.
Yeah.
For somebody like me, I'm a little bit more ADHD with my content. You know, I like to kind of spark some controversy. I don't know, it's just in my nature. I'm just that way with content. So not everyone I reach out to is actually applicable for fitness coaching or even, you know, mentorship, for example. And so you don't need 100,000 followers. You can actually have a very dialed ecosystem, a very dialed content mechanism for this specific person, and you can still make a lot of sales.
Yeah. I mean, I was on nearly at 10K with like 3,000 to 4,000 followers.
Right.
10K a month.
Right. I mean, you started out with 3,500, 4,000 followers. You hit almost 10K, 8.5.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cash collected that first month. And you're able to do it because all of that content aligned for that one specific individual because you understood your ICP so well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of people got to realize. If you're kind of around that 10,000 follower mark, and you're just not seeing the sales you want to see, if you're not getting the clients you want to see, it's simply maybe because your messaging just isn't dialed for that specific person.
It's not.
So you can spark the conversations, but when somebody looks through your stories or through your ecosystem of reels, they're like, wait, who is this guy? What does he do? Why does he do it? How does he do it? He says he's a coach, but everyone's a coach.
Yeah.
How does he specifically help me out?
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
why you're able to actually convert so well. If you take a look at your Stripe dashboard, you have like pretty much a sale like every day or every other day last month. It was insane.
I mean, I don't go a day without money is rare. But yeah, I think the biggest thing, it's a combination of all. It's not only being dialed in on your ICP, but it's showing up consistently because you never know. Like you could show up, I showed up 4 out of 7 days this week on my story. That's a majority. Those 3 days that you didn't post, you never know who could be looking. You never know what's there. Like you got to show up regardless of how you feel. And it's just a combination of showing the fuck up and just having your dialed content mechanism. And when you can do that and create conversations and just keep moving regardless of how you feel. I mean, failure is impossible.
Right.
much.
Now I want to move on to some other aspects because, you know, got the VSL down, that converted people, you got your sales down, you got your content down, and that was all because you understood your ICP, your offer very, very, very well. But now when it actually comes to signing clients on, how do you help them achieve success? What do you use? How do you onboard them? What coaching process do you take people through?
Yeah, and this is also something I had no idea how to do before I joined. But, you know, I give them their own personalized Notion dashboard, like with clear next steps. There's a lot. It could be overwhelming for someone to start a big transformation like this. But I give them clear next steps, a clear morning routine, and daily mandatories to check off every single day. I give them a spot where their main goals are on the top of their dashboard, like with their home base. So they can constantly see their why. And then I give them their calories and macros after the first week of, you know, getting an idea of how they eat. I do this personally, but I do my own thing. And then pretty much everything is laid out on this personalized dashboard for them. I onboard them into a training app, Trainerize, and then I structure out their daily habits and their workouts and their nutrition. And you know, I put automated message in there and whatever I need. and I'm also texting them every single day. I go above and beyond. I try to do everything I can. I text them every single morning with a little voice memo. I'm like, hey, how are things going? I see your weight spiked up a little. Don't worry, it's normal. XYZ, whatever. It's like new low, like hype them up. And then on top of that, I get MyFitnessPal going so they can track their calories and it can sync to the training app. And then I have a school community that I onboard them in. So I have like a bunch of video modules where they can also access the weekly group calls on there. And then there's like a place to share their wins. And then there's a group chat with WhatsApp where everyone goes in and communicates and becomes friends outside of, they just, all my clients become friends with each other. There's like 40 of them in there now.
Right. I asked that because a big part of your business, which makes it so successful, that client success. You've gotten some amazing transformations, you know, not only 10, 20, but like 30, 40, 50, up to 100 pounds lost with some people.
Right.
You know, because you're able to show that social proof, you have this perpetual just income coming in. I mean, this is probably going to be your third month of doing over 30K a month.
Right.
You know, which is really good. That's really, really, really good. And I think, you know, 0 to 10 is pretty easy, but if you want to hit consistent 30K months, that client success part is a big part of it, right? And I just
It's everything.
Yeah, I wanted you to run people through exactly how you get your clients amazing success, because that's what people kind of lack sometimes. You know, the universe gives people a little bit of money, a little bit of clients, and they fail. They fail with that leadership, and the coaching business doesn't succeed. Inevitably, they have no social proof to show, right? Is there any tips you would give beginner coaches for actually getting amazing client success once they get that first client? Because I know with me, it was my first client, Justin Halstead. He's lost over 100 pounds with me. He still works with me to this day. It was that one transformation that probably brought me the rest of my fitness clients up until this point. It just takes one transformation to change your coaching business trajectory forever or make it successful, right? What would you tell people to get amazing transformations?
I would say remember why you started. So like and like you said, people get comfortable when they get a little bit of money or whatever it is. You got to realize, first of all, you said 30K is pretty good. I'm not comfortable.
I know you aren't. You made 5K this month and you're like, it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean
5 days into it.
I mean a K a day. I mean I need to hit 50, so I'm behind already.
Right.
But anyways, staying uncomfortable and then realizing it comes down to the values in transforming lives. The reason I wanted to start this, yes, financial freedom, location freedom, but I don't want to be money obsessed. You know, I purely care about changing lives. And that's why my clients always come first. They come before me. They come before anything. And if you can't put your clients first and actually care on a deep level, that's when the abundance gets cut off, right? So, and then your business won't grow to an extent without transformations, because the reason that this is evergreen and I know it's going to keep growing and growing is when you do an amazing transformation, they tell their friends and then they tell their friends and they tell their friends. If you don't give your all and give them what you promise and give an amazing transformation, you're not only going to get a bad rep, scamming rep, or you're going to cut off potential growth and people aren't going to be happy with you. And it's not going to work out. So you really got to, especially for your first client, go to war for that client. You know, give them everything, or her, you know? And that's what I've done. And I continue to do with my 25 to 30 clients I have at the moment. I give them everything. I check in with them every morning. I don't know a single other coach that every single morning sends them a voice memo. They don't have to chase me. I'm chasing them every single day. I just go above and beyond. I give everything I can. I care so deeply. And because of that, I've been rewarded with an abundance. And that's why I know the second I stop caring, my life purpose is gone. But I know that also the abundance, the reward to me will be cut off as well.
And how do you continue to find a stronger why as you level up in business? Because you've made a lot of money. And we know some people who make some, get comfortable. They even go down sometimes, you know? What helps you continue to push the limits, not only in your fitness, but especially in business? Because there's a lot of people out there, and I've even heard this before, you know, they're at 0K a month, and they're like, I'm unmotivated.
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing the hard stuff. While you're over here making more than $1,000 a day, and you're still more hungry. What helps you have that like killer mindset it takes?
Well, I know that discomfort leads to growth. I know that if you can't do it when you have $0, it's gonna be you're cooked.
Yeah,
you're absolutely cooked. So that's probably the easiest time to do it, because you have that discomfort and you have that like, I have nothing, I need it so bad. It's even harder to continue pushing when you have 30K a month, because people are so easy to get comfortable. But at this point, I kind of need to continue to stretch the gap, the perceived gap from where I am and where I want to be. Just like I was 4 months ago, I was writing in my journal. I was at 0K. I was like, I'm going to be at 10K a month consistently before 2025 ends. I mean, it's October now, and I'm about to be on my third 30K a month. And at this point, I'm like, I need to be at 100K a month. Like, how am I going to make this happen? And that's way further than the 0 to 10K route. At least even 30 to 50K is further. 20K off instead of 10. And so it makes me constantly uncomfortable with where I am, and that's going to continuously make me keep growing and make me keep giving my effort. And you got to like create that gap between where you are and where you want to be at all times. It needs to be far, or else you'll get complacent and comfortable. And that's when you'll not only stay the same, but you'll even regress, right? And when you climb to a certain view, you know, that view will get stale if you don't continue to keep climbing. You know, you always got to keep aiming to grow and go higher. So that's where I'm at. You know, I definitely can't get comfortable far from that, staying uncomfortable and continuing to give it my all.
Good. And then one last thing I want to mention. So a big part of what we implemented inside of your business, and this was like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, was that school and community aspect. You know, you didn't have that before. You were kind of just a one-on-one coach, and you did a really good job of that. And I think a big part of moving your coaching business ahead is going to be that community and school video course aspect. The school for simply just like systematizing things. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah,
but like condensing down the things you're constantly saying to people.
Right.
Putting into like onboarding, how to track your macros, so you're not telling everyone how to do it.
Yeah.
But then adding the community so people feel connected. That's a big thing. A big part of building a brand. There's like 3 keys to it. One of the big parts is actually having a strong community behind it. And that's why I said implement it. So not only is that good for the people who join on, but it's especially good for the marketing aspect, because when you show on your stories, all the people on the calls, people like FOMO. If you're missing out, they're like, I want to get in on that.
Yeah.
First off, like, how have you seen that affect your business, getting the school in there and getting the community in there, not only for like sales, but especially for the people inside and for you managing the business?
I mean, it's night and day, man.
Yeah.
Because if it's one-on-one coaching, that's one thing. And that's what I offer it as. But also, when they see there's a whole community aspect, there's all these like-minded individuals, and you know, everyone is helping each other out, and it kind of takes my demand out of it a little bit. And everyone's sharing their wins and friendly competition and joining group calls. And, you know, I just had an amazing group call yesterday with everyone. And really everyone just sharing their own personal beliefs, and everyone's like so happy to hear they're not alone in this journey, and everyone else. And like, it's a huge point. It makes your service worth so much more, because they're not only investing into their own transformation, but they're investing to being a community of others doing the same thing. That is impossible to fail when you're all motivating each other. A lone wolf never makes it as far as a pack. And seeing all of them work on their goals even motivates me to go out and get extra steps and push myself further, because I need to be the standard. And it goes to show that knowledge isn't enough. Knowledge is amazing, but without that like-minded community and environment motivating you to do more, you won't ever reach that potential.
Right. Yeah, that's a big aspect. So the 3 parts of building a really good brand is going to be an amazing product or service, amazing marketing, and then an amazing community behind it.
Yeah.
You know, so you got all 3, and that's exactly why it's doing so well. So community aspect of the coaching business is insanely powerful. Even like you mentioned the other day, you're like inside of the sneaking in group chat, people are dropping. Have you guys tried the protein coffee from
day.
Starbucks?
Every day,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so it takes some coaching off you, but especially allows people to connect. And that's why I think that's a big selling point. It's like, by the way, you get this whole entire community of people who are on the same exact journey as you. Because a lot of those people, they feel lost.
I know.
Right? And so when they see that, they're like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And that's people buy. You know, we were in the jacuzzi last night. I was like, $3,500 paid in full. I'm like, again? Damn,
I knew you were down there saying that.
Yeah. That's crazy. And it's because amazing product and service, amazing marketing, and an amazing community behind it. Those are the big 3 things that will
massive.
blow up your coaching business.
This girl was a little on the edge, for example, last night. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, don't worry. you're in the exact same position of being unsure about yourself as this client. And I showed her a little testimonial of this client being like, I was unsure of myself. Then I came to Ari. It's like, if you're in the same boat as me, you have to come to him. And it was literally her exact position. She's like, okay, I can't wait. And then I get her in, and then I join her to the group me. And then everyone's like, it feels like the group's growing every day. I'm so happy to hear it. Everyone's so excited to welcome a new member in. And then individually are reaching out to her like, hey, I heard you were in the spot that I was in. Like, I just want you to know you're in amazing hands. Ari's like my savior, like XYZ, and just everyone's making each other feel so much more welcomed and in the same boat and no longer alone. And it changed everything. It's like one of the most important selling points is the community that I put together. Now I have like 30 plus members. It's continuously growing. And I know from now on, I always have that community to leverage in my service, you know?
Yeah, it's big. And I'll ask you one last question here. So for the guy out there who's either thinking about starting his coaching business or kind of struggling, maybe he's been trying to post like content for a while, struggling to get clients, maybe got a couple, but just like struggling to get it going or struggling just to start, what would you tell that individual who's like, he's got that burning passion, not just that guy who's sitting there like, oh, I want to figure out how to make some money. Let me look at these business models. It's like, no, I know the fitness coaching business is for me, but I'm struggling to start it or I'm struggling to scale it. What would you tell them?
Well, so now I have to think about this is me 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. So if I could go back and tell myself what's the exact scenario that you described, someone that wanted it so bad, I was like, it was my dream to help people change their lives through fitness, especially online with financial and location freedom. I'd be like, first of all, find a fucking mentor, someone to guide you so you're not trial and erroring and making yourself crazy. Like I've done it before. I would go on to keep trying it with a shit mentor and just on my own, and I just drove myself crazy. Find someone that truly, you could tell truly cares and has been your exact spot that's just one step ahead, okay? And then, I mean, that's what I was missing. You know, I have the drive, and then also faith in God, you know, just know, as tough as it gets, as many mental battles as you have, just be aware that that's beginner's hell for a reason. You know, it's 3 to 6 months of the beginning of when you're trying to make something happen, and it's God's way of testing who really wants it or who doesn't, with seeing close to no results, right? Being able to show up consistently for 3 to 6 months. That was me January all the way to May, of seeing no results and continuously with delusion, just showing up day after day, regardless. And if you're unwilling to settle for failure, then it won't happen. You only get in life what you're willing to settle for. Okay, you get the bare minimum of what you're willing to settle for. So if you refuse to settle for failure in every single day in every single scenario, then it won't happen. It's impossible. You're refusing to settle for it. So do whatever it takes. Take a risk. You know, I practice what I preach, which is why I'm success. I get paid in fulls because I paid in full to a mentor. Right? You can't just be scared to take a risk and bet on yourself and then expect other people to do that with your coaching. Right? You got to practice what you preach, take a risk to get a massive reward, and do it and show up no matter how you feel, have faith, and it's impossible to fail.
Awesome. And any last words?
Nah, I mean, I wish the best. I mean, I was someone, my life is completely transformed, and it's crazy how much your life can change in 6 months if you just put your head down, lock in, and have faith. That's pretty much it. My life's completely changed. So it's amazing.
Awesome.
I appreciate you for it, man.
Thank you, brother.